Dawn Witte is with us here today. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, tell me about this new book that you've got. What's the basic premise for it?
Well, we have a couple new ones out. The latest one that came out is the Recipes for Being the Power of Strong. And my books are all about 7 words. And this one focuses on strong. And then we have a planner, and it's about the 7 words. And it's helping people live their best life and focusing on those words and what that means to them.
Yeah, and how do you pick which words you're going to focus on?
You know, I chose them a few years ago. I was literally sitting there. I had all these quotes that I had written, and I was trying to figure out how I wanted to organize them. And so I just thought, there's the 7 deadly sins. And I don't like to tell people what not to be. I always like to point out the positive. So I thought, well, what words would I choose if they were of the opposite of the 7 deadly sins? So I came up with 7 words that I thought if we could all incorporate into our lives, we would live our very best selves.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. It's better to focus on the things we should be rather than what we shouldn't be.
Absolutely. See, I wanted to inspire people to greatness, not tell them not to do something.
Yeah. So in terms of the contents of the book, how is it structured and what kind of information do we learn from it?
The latest books all have the journaling prompts. They have, quotes. They have planning sections where you can write out your goals, accomplishments. We really want people to focus on celebrating their wins, because sometimes you think, oh, I have this goal and I didn't get there yet, but you don't acknowledge all the things that you did do, and that helps keep you motivated and keep you going. So there are coloring elements, to tap into a different part of your brain, and, some stories, again, for some inspiration. So there's a whole bunch of different pieces in it, but it's really they're tools to help people, again, tap into those words and, be their best self.
Yeah. And for somebody who isn't being these things enough, do you think that it will really help them to become those things and be more strong and inspired and grateful, etc.?
I think so. Throughout the course of my life, when I focus on, the things I have to be grateful for, no matter what is happening in the external world, my car breaks down or, the plumbing breaks or, something happens in my house, I always remember to be grateful, grateful that I have a car, grateful that I have a house, grateful that I have water in my house. And it really changes it from being this is so terrible to okay, I'm going to deal with it.
And is that mindset a little bit hard to keep up? Because I guess it's like doing other things for your health. When you first start doing them, you're like, yeah, I'm going to drink lots of water, and then it kind of slips. Do you find that if you're trying to be grateful, it works to start off with, but then as time goes on, you just end up how you were before?
It's a constant mindful practice. And that's why I write about it and I speak about it, because my own experiences has been, when it's something, I don't allow these things to bother me. We're in this COVID, pandemic and all these things happening in the world. And instead of focusing on the icky part, which there's lots of icky, I focus on what can I do? What can I do? And so I focus more on my writing and, connecting with people, on Zoom. And, what I can do is what I put my attention on, not what I can't do, which is part of, the grateful part.
Yeah. And in terms of the idea to write this book, was it your own kind of life experiences that made you want to write about this kind of thing?
Everything I do has stemmed from loving being a mother. And when I first started writing down some quotes, I just thought, there are some things that I think are really important that my daughters know, when I'm no longer here to say to them. I want them to remember, to be grateful for everything that they have, for the life that they're given. And, that love is our highest currency, and, to be strong because life has challenges, and to be genuine because, being your authentic self is, what people really respond to, and being kind, the importance of being kind and grateful and inspired. Like when you wake up every day and you're inspired to go do something, that gives your life passion and purpose.
Yeah, it gives you a reason to wake up in the morning at the very least.
It does. And so, they are my inspiration. I feel like they're the reason that I am here. And, so that's what inspires me in everything I do. That's giving them those messages. And I thought, if those messages are important enough that I think my daughters must know them, I think it's important that other people know them too, or at least hear them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So how long did it take you from start to finish to get this book written and published?
Well, I'm on the 5th book now. I think we've got 5 out now. So, oh gosh, I don't know. It's funny. It's before the first one, that's the scary one because you've never done it before. You don't know what to do. And so that took me a couple years, to write the quotes, to come up with how I structured it, and it went through very funny phases. Like I literally had big poster boards where I cut out things and I was putting them on the different words. And, so that one was much harder. The rest of them have been a lot easier.
Yeah. And I suppose because you've written so many books, do you worry about running out of positive words that you can use?
No, because, every day there's a story. There's a story of something that's happened in my life that has taught me a lesson, or my good friends, their stories. And so you never run out. There's never going to be a limited amount of things I can say about these words.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have any more books coming then? I take it you do if there are more stories and words you can use.
Yeah, we're actually working on a couple more. So we have the Recipes for Being, the Power of 7. And each one of the words is going to be a different featured author. I have 2 here. Well, no, 1 here. But this is The Power of Kind. And this is written by Deborah Louise Brown. Ooh. And so the other one is The Power of Strong. And that's written by Stephanie Young. And they have their own book with Deborah and I's parts in it. But there's going to be one for each word. We're looking for authors. We have a few authors already signed up to do some other words, happy and love. And then we're looking for other authors to join us and to, have their own book and get to delve into their word and tell their story and, help other people in doing so.
Yeah. And in terms of the genre and classification of the book, would you call it a self-help book?
Self-help, inspirational. I think self-help because you're not just reading something, you're actively doing. So I would say that's probably the best description.
And do you think the self-help books are a good thing that help people, or does it kind of depend on if the reader actually wants to help themselves?
I don't think you buy a self-help book if you don't want to do something, make a change in your life. And I think we go through different periods of our life. When I was actively raising my kids, they're 18 months apart, 16 months apart. They're only 16 months apart. Yeah. I didn't have time to do this. I could have made time, but I wasn't even thinking about it. I was thinking about, making breakfasts and packing lunches and helping with homework and, that kind of stuff. So at different points in somebody's life, they may come to a point where they're like, what are my next steps? Whether you lose a job or you lose somebody you love or you're faced with an illness, those are times when people, look into, what is the meaning of my life? And so, I think they can help anybody if they want to be helped and if they want to live a happier life.
Yeah. And what made you want to do it as a self-help book rather than, I don't know, you could have made a little film or a podcast? What was it about a book that you think works best?
I do it in a lot of different ways. I have a foundation. That's my heart, my soul, my passion. And it's the Desire to Inspire Foundation. And I travel around the world helping kids that are living in extreme poverty, children that are literally struggling for clean water on a daily basis. And so from that work, that gives me so many stories and so much inspiration because, again, I look at my life and any challenge I go through, I think I can turn on the sink and, turn on my faucet and have water. Wow. So it's made me so grateful and just so much more full of love because I receive so much love from them. And it makes me also see how important love is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, if we're interested in checking out the book, where are we able to find it?
They're all on Amazon. You can also go to recipesforbeing.com and our list of books are there, and it tells you more about it, and you can get a free sample of the planner, a download of the sample planner. It's really beautiful. Deborah, who does the artwork and the layout and the formatting and the editing, and she's amazing and so talented. So they can check it out there, or find the Desire to Inspire Foundation on Facebook or on social media, and at desiretoinspirefoundation.org.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. It's been great having you on.
Thank you so much, Toby. It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful weekend.